It was in the small town of Navsari, Gujarat, in 1839, where a boy named Jamshedji was born to a humble family. Little did anyone know, this boy would one day change the face of India's industry and philanthropy forever. Jamshedji's father, Nusirvanji Tata, was a hard-working Parsi merchant, determined to give his son a good education. As a young boy, Jamshedji was bright, curious, and filled with dreams. He was sent to Bombay to study at Elphinstone College, where his journey to greatness began. In Bombay, Jamshedji witnessed the early sparks of India's industrial age. After completing his education, he joined his father's trading business. But it wasn't enough for the ambitious young man. He saw potential in India's untapped resources, dreaming of industries that could transform the country. Jamshedji was determined to turn India into a modern industrial nation. He began by venturing into the cotton industry, starting his first mill in 1868. But it was no ordinary mill. It was designed with his workers in mind, offering better working conditions, fair wages, and incentives long before such ideas were common. This wasn't just business for Jamshedji. He wanted to build more than just profits. He wanted to create a legacy that would uplift the people of India. Jamshedji's vision went beyond the cotton mills. He dreamed of three things for India: an iron and steel company, a world-class institution for science, and affordable power for the people. These were no ordinary dreams, but dreams that required immense courage and foresight. But success did not come easily. The British rulers were skeptical of an Indian entrepreneur's ability to build a steel plant. They doubted his vision, but Jamshedji was determined. He traveled across the world, studying steel plants, gaining knowledge, and gathering support. And even though he did not live to see it, his dream became reality in 1907 when Tata Steel was founded in Jamshedpur, the city named after him. It was India's first steel plant, a symbol of Indian resilience and determination. But Jamshedji's vision didn't stop at industry. He believed that for India to truly progress, it needed a strong foundation in education and research. In 1892, he made one of his largest donations, over 30 lakh rupees, towards establishing what would later become the Indian Institute of Science in Bangalore. This institution would go on to produce some of India's finest minds in science and engineering. Jamshedji's belief in the power of education was unparalleled, and he knew that the future lay in the hands of well-educated youth. Jamshedji wasn't just a businessman. He was a philanthropist at heart. He believed in the welfare of his workers, setting up pension funds, accident compensation, and even housing colonies long before they became a standard. His contributions to society didn't end with his businesses. Today, the Tata Group, inspired by Jamshedji's philosophy, continues to contribute heavily to health, education, and development, uplifting millions of lives across India. Jamshedji Tata left behind a legacy that is not just remembered but lives on in the very fabric of modern India. His dreams of an industrialized, educated, and empowered nation laid the foundation for India's progress. More than a century after his passing, Jamshedji's name remains synonymous with vision, integrity, and philanthropy. He wasn't just the father of Indian industry, he was the father of a nation's dreams. Today, India stands tall, not just because of its industries but because of people like Jamshedji Tata, who believed in its potential when few did. His story is not just a tale of business success, it's a story of hope, dreams, and the courage to change the world. This is the story of Jamshedji Tata, the man who built more than companies. He built a nation's future.
Today, we celebrate a man who could never be defined in one word. A man who we continue to learn more from every time we look back on his life. Jamshedji Nusirvanji Tata. Jamshedji Tata was a man who never shied away from the unknown and forged his own path. From using his business acumen to acquire a struggling oil mill and turning it into a thriving textile factory, to investing in a city whose potential only he saw. He took on the risks that others would not, confident in his ability to defy expectations. Jamshedji Tata dared to dream of an industrialized future for the nation. He explored its remotest paths to find a suitable location for a world-class steel plant to drive India's aspirations. Inspired by a trip to the Narmada waterfalls, he dreamt of clean, renewable energy to power India's industrial journey as early as 1875. He even envisioned a planned city with wide streets and plenty of space for lawns and gardens. He laid down a vision that his successors could follow. A lover of travel and adventure, he set out in search of inspiration and more. Looking for ways to make his dream hotel the finest India had ever seen, he spared no expense. He traveled around the globe for the best the world had to offer. He set foot on almost every continent, seeking knowledge from the brightest minds of the era. A man of many interests, Jamshedji Tata committed to personal pursuits as much as professional ones. From being one of the first Indians to own a motor car, to his presence in the club culture of Mumbai city, and his enthusiasm and support for sports. Even his iconic home reflected his tastes. Jamshedji Tata gave the word philanthropy a new meaning, inspired by his lifelong search for knowledge. To open global education prospects for men and women, he established a scholarship and envisioned an institute that would go on to become one of the nation's premier scientific facilities. He also made the well-being of his employees a priority, with thoughtful initiatives unique at the time. For all the stories that are known about him, so many remain untold.